Hello everyone, welcome to the winter release of Smart ID, and hello Johan.
Hello Daniel.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So we have a lot of interesting news for you today, so it's just to get going. I think today we will start by talking a little bit about our new mobile visual ID solution. Then moving into something that has been requested for us to talk about, that's the mobile Windows login. And then we move on to some new nice features on the identity management part of Smart ID, finishing off with access management. So let's just hit it off, so to say. We have talked about personal mobile before. It is a neutral app. Both the app icon and the app itself is very neutral. You have been able to pick your standardized design, and you have been able to pick an organizational template for the design of the smart card. But today we'll talk about the next generation that has been released now when we talk about the real visual ID. And that's where you can actually customize the visual smart card on the mobile on an organizational level, but also on an individual level.
Yeah, so like Daniel say, this is a part of the provisioning request. So basically you can select if you want an organizational layout with logo and graphic that match the design templates that you have. Or you can even go down on the individual level, adding photograph, custom fields, etc. That's only for that individual, and this is actually done in the provisioning request.
Yeah.
The solution also have reverse side functionality, meaning you have one front side and one reverse side, like a smart card. And this reverse side can also be pin protected. If you have security features on the back side, like a QR code or a barcode or any personal information that you want to have protected with a PIN code or biometrics for that case. The reverse side in the app presents a rotation symbol. So you can actually rotate the card in the app, going from the front to the reverse side. And we also support interactive animations for the reverse side, so you can add something that moves around, or if you press it that some graphics appear, so you know that this is not actually a screenshot.
Good. This is, as you see on the screen now also, some of the features, and these are now implemented as standard features in the personal mobile and the messaging interface. So that's really interesting. When we've been talking about mobile virtual smart cards before, it has been a lot on the digital side. It's basically saying that now we've moved it into taking basically all the functions that you have on a real smart card into the mobile. So that's cool, and it's rolled out now. So that's nice. And that actually brings us to the next topic. Because when you have a real smart card, what do you want to do with it? You want to use it for login on your machine, especially Windows login. It has been requested for a long time. Organizations actually using the mobile for strong authentication, using the certificates for authentication on the mobile. But now we will show you how we have realized a solution so that we can actually use the mobile virtual smart card for Windows logon.
Yeah.
So let's go into the details a little bit. What is it? Because we're actually now talking about the mobile being locally connected to your laptop.
Yeah, so I mean, Microsoft Windows have been supporting smart card logon for quite some time now, that you have a smart card which you then put in your machine. You authenticate with a PIN code and the certificates that are on the smart card. But now we've added this support for the mobile smart card, which is not directly connected physically to the machine. So in this case, how we solved it was that we connected with Bluetooth Low Energy, BLE, which then allows the mobile app to communicate with the machine in a secure way. So by this combination, using smart card logon and BLE, the machine actually thinks that the mobile smart card is connected to the machine locally. So it appears as a traditional smart card,
nice.
which also then offer the possibility to use different triggers for smart card removal, etc. So the machine is automatically locked. So the components of this solution, we have the Nexus BLE service, which is incorporated on the client side in Nexus Personal, which is basically a virtual smart card reader. Appears as any other smart card reader in Windows. But instead of communicating physically with the card, we communicate over BLE using the GATT protocol. And then on the client, on the mobile side, we have personal mobile. You need personal mobile with a profile that consists of certificates that belongs to your domain. And the mobile phone then handles incoming events from Windows. So for example, if you want to authenticate, you press the smart card symbol, you get a push notification in the app, log in, and then we use basically the keys and the certificates that are stored in personal mobile.
Yeah, that's nice. So you're doing basically a certificate-based smart card logon without the real smart card.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about the use cases, and we're focusing today, and we will demo how it actually looks when you're doing this for logon. But as you say, we're actually connecting like a virtual smart card reader, and it appears as a smart card and present certificates to Windows. So, and what does that mean actually? Yeah,
so basically what that means is it acts as a smart card. You can then do all the use cases that you do with a traditional smart card when you are connected, when your phone are close by your computer, when you are logged in. TLS client authentication, SMIME, encryption, decryption in general. So basically all the use cases that you have with a traditional smart card, now you can do it with your phone.
That's nice, that's nice. And we're excited because both of us are using it ourselves, so that's nice. And we're talking about, you said when the phone is close to your computer. So what does that mean, and how? Because I can feel that there are situations where you are, multiple devices or whatever. How?
Yeah, so the solution also supports proximity, which is then basically the phone communicates with the client or the machine over BLE, and we know how close the phone is. So what we want to achieve is that if you basically go away from your computer, you would like to have the same experience as with a smart card. You remove it, you do a smart card removal event, and the machine is locked. So we added this feature as well with over BLE. So if you go away from your computer and a certain threshold is below X amount for 5 seconds, then the machine is locked. So if you go away, your machine is locked.
That's nice.
So the phone needs to be close by, and this is also customizable. So you can basically say that the phone needs to be like 10 centimeters from your machine, or it can be, if you have an own office, for example, then maybe you move around when you talk on the phone like I do. You don't want your machine to be locked all the time. So yeah, proximity is also part of the solution.
Yeah. And actually for me, I really like using it in an everyday mode and so on. Yeah. I basically love it, and I think it's very smooth. But what I really like is actually, because I think that Bluetooth stuff is basically really tough to pair.
It's
I hate it sometimes. So what I really like about this solution is, of course, usually you just pair one phone to one computer and then it's done. Sometimes you need to repair and so on, but it's really smooth. So I can basically show you I have a full virtual smart card here on my phone with my login credentials that correspond to this computer, but it's not connected. So the only thing that I do, because I have the desktop app installed, I start personal mobile, I open the desktop app, I click on mobile ID, you see it represents a QR code. The only thing that I do, I click the QR code on the mobile, I scan it, and then it automatically detects my computer and it asks if I want to connect my virtual smart card to this computer. Yes, I want to like to activate this. I have multiple smart cards. So in this case, I actually tell my computer which smart card that I want to put into the reader. So in this case, I would like to have this one, and I confirm with Touch ID. I get a green sign saying that now your smart card is connected to your computer. And now, bing, I have a connection, and I can see that my smart card is connected. So it's really, really nice, and everyone can do it. Very user-friendly and smooth and straight away.
Yeah. You can also see the proximity values that we have in the app by touching the Bluetooth symbol. You see which devices you are connected to, and you have also the RSSI value.
Exactly.
That if this value goes beyond a certain limit for 5 seconds, then the computer is not.
Exactly. Really nice. So let's do a full login demo. How does it look when I use my mobile to actually log in to my computer? So if I lock it now, I lock my computer, and here you can see that I have different alternatives to log on. On this specific machine, I actually have 4 alternatives to log in. I can log in with username and password, definitely not preferred. Then I have my traditional smart card. It's a trust anchor. That's where I have it's my corporate passport where I have my keys. Then I have issued a mobile virtual ID here. It's presented here, as you can see, as a smart card in the standard login screen. And fourthly, I also have this TPM-based virtual smart card. There you can see it's not presented as a smart card, it's presented as this bug. But in this case here, I basically, I click the smart card for virtual smart card, I get the authentication, I approve it, and I put my finger there, and I'm automatically logged into my workstation. Extremely smooth. So, and then I move away, and it automatically locks. So it's a very, very smooth, straightforward process where you have the highest level of certificate-based login.
Yeah.
So that's nice. It feels really good to be able to show this to all of you now. And really happy to see that we have a successful beta program ongoing. And as said, please just contact your representative locally and see if you're able to join the program. Okay, so I think it's time to move to the next topic. We would like to share some information on identity management and our card services. And some new features and functionalities. I think that we start with the what we call the data sync proxy.
Yeah.
What's that?
So the data sync proxy is actually a very small Smart ID component, which is used to connect remote data sources like an Active Directory or any LDAP catalog database, which then you don't need VPN. So the Smart ID solution can be deployed in one data center, and maybe you have a directory or database in another data center which is not directly connected. So the data sync proxy is basically using outbound HTTPS communication. So no need for VPN, etc. But you can sync users or data, basically whatever you want to do. So, like I said, it's available for all external data sources that we support. So it's JDBC, LDAP, SCIM, or file. The data sync proxy can be deployed in several instances as well. So you can have several data sync proxies connected to one Smart ID solution. So it's a really good feature, and we released it a few versions ago, but it's been really improved over the last months. So it's very good.
Yeah, and useful for sure, and it's good. And when we talk about managing identities, and so we quite often talk about the full life cycle, and of course, like critical onboarding, offboarding, that's really critical, managing life cycle. But and we talk a lot about the digital side. Today, we would like to also tell a little bit about features that connects the physical part of this. And it's actually so when, for example, when I have a card that I'm using every day for physical access, I have my access conditions in the different physical access systems. And if I happen to forget my card at home or whatever, and I come and I need a temporary card, my normal card locks temporarily and I get a temporary card. And then I should have access to the same access groups in the physical systems as I have. And then when I return my temporary card, I should get back the full functionality on my normal one. And here we're talking about maybe in many cases multiple physical access systems. So I think that we could talk a little bit more specifically about these, how we connect to physical access systems in our identity management system.
Yeah, so one of the modules of Smart ID is the module called Physical Access. And that is a solution which you can then connect to several different physical access control systems through Smart ID, and also do entitlement, which means that basically based on out of your role or it can be group memberships, etc., you get entitlements and access to doors in several systems. Administration is much more easy, which you have one administrative GUI, which is Smart ID. You don't go into the separate systems and add access for a user.
And you basically can have automated processes, as you were saying as an example, that if I work at the IT department, I have access to all the different server rooms maybe and so on. And I change department to marketing. Yes. And then automatically in the different physical access systems, in the different sites, I automatically lose my access to the server rooms, because in marketing in that group I should not have that type of access. It's just one very simple.
Like you say, it's the very same as digital access. So you have an onboarding process. You need to maintain the ID over a life cycle and the offboarding process. So that we cover for both the digital security side and the physical security side. Meaning that when you start, you have a role. You're automatically assigned to be able to open doors, maybe in different systems. If you change your role during the life cycle, then automatically your permissions change as well, also for the physical security. And when you leave, offboarding, really important. All of your digital access and physical access are revoked during basically the same process.
And I think that maybe we should have a look, because this historically this has been a little bit of a under hood functionality in Smart ID. You configure these connections and you have some use cases, but now we've actually enhanced that with some user interface as well.
Yes, so the new version of this, I call it a backend feature, now has a web-based graphical interface. So it's HTML5, where you can see all of the configuration, generic configuration for all connectors, and then detailed configuration for the different connectors that we support. So you see in the video that also rolling that in this case we have a C-port connector, which is a Siemens system. We have certain values that are fixed, which you can't change because this comes from the connector configuration. You cannot change the key, but you can change the value. So this is basically the configuration that you can add new values. For example, if you need other types of values, other groups, etc. You can add it in the web interface instead of like it was before, actually putting in the database. So it's a really nice improvement, which also offer you monitoring capabilities. You can see if a connector is active or not. So we also have this heartbeat feature that we can see if the connector is up and running. So
Nice.
really nice.
Sure. So let's stay a little bit on these close card related features. We have some small ones. I was thinking about this the Java client that we have been dealing with for quite some time.
So traditionally, when you do PKI encoding operations in Smart ID, we're using Java on the client side. Both if you do it through the user self-service portal or if you do it from the Explorer. We removed the need of Java for the user self-service portal a few versions ago. So instead of using Java, we're using Nexus personal desktop app to do the encoding, which then connects to different types of middleware as well. So also third-party middleware. Now we remove Java from the Explorer GUI as well. So it's a part of the strategy to get rid of Java because it's expensive for our customers to pay license fees to Oracle for that. So now it's completely removed from the new versions. We also added, talking about physical access and RFID, we've updated the UHF encoding capabilities in Smart ID. And UHF, it's an RFID technology, but in contrast to MyFair, EM, Legit, etc., it offers a wider range of connectivity. So
long distance.
Yeah, it's long distance. It's like 3 to 5 meters or something like that. Typically used for opening gates. So you have a car, you get close to the gate, signal is sent, and then the gate is open. So we really updated this encoding capabilities in Smart ID as well.
Okay, good. So let's talk about something that I think is really interesting, and this is also not just a technically nice and interesting feature, it's also about saving cost, frustration, time, and so on. It's about photo handling.
Yes.
It is a lot of our customers, we can look at ourselves, but of course bigger customers spread around the world where you're requesting photos and you're managing them and so on. It is, let's say, a tough process. It doesn't matter how much policies that you put in place or instructions, you will end up with photos that sneak past, and then you actually have to roll back the issuance process of, for example, a card and start over again, request a new photo, etc. So let's have a look at what we've done the last months in implementing new photo handling with actually AI.
Yes, so for our services, our card services, we've now introduced a feature based on Azure cognitive services. So it's based on AI. So let's have a closer look to what it looks in practice. So this is the order portal in the service, which you want to request a new card. So the end user selects new card.
Yep.
Which card type you want. And then I've got some photos from a colleague called Johanna, but the requirements, this is what we had before. So we had requirements based on the website, that the photo could not have a dark background, etc. You cannot have a hat. Like in this case, Johanna's got a headdress, and the service automatically tells you that the headdress is not allowed. So you get immediate feedback that there's something wrong with the photo. And then in the other case, we want a white background. This photo has a dark background. Background shall be white. You get immediate feedback that there's something wrong with the photo. And the requirement in this case is also that the face needs to be more than, or 70 to 80% of the photo needs to contain the face. In this case, we have a photo that the face is smaller, and you get the head shall occupy 70 to 80%. You can do automatic cropping in the portal as well. So it's a good photo, but the context was wrong. So I changed it, and now it's all good. I can place the order, minimizing the effort spent by the approvers, which we also implemented certain features based on AI for approvers. So they also see that there's something wrong with the photo, or if you should change it, or the quality is bad. They can even automatically change the contrast of the photo in the approver step. So you don't need to go back and do a new photo. You can actually do certain photoshopping in the approver step.
Yeah, because when you actually personalize a card, you actually know that there are some things that will appear better or worse. Maybe it's not really a dark background, or it's something, but then you can do these small adjustments so that you know that the result ending up on the physical card will have a good appearance. So
yeah.
Okay, that was nice. I think I'm really and we've seen, because we're using the feature ourselves in our services. It's not just a part of the Smart ID offering that our customers are deploying themselves. It's also in our services. We see the result, and we also see how it affects the customers in a positive way. So it's not just that you get instructions. It's actually so that you can force that you're not, if it isn't approved, you can't pass. So it's nice. Okay, time flies. Let's move to the next topic of today, I think.
Access management. So the next release of Hybrid Access Gateway will actually contain a lot of new features. The biggest ones is that we will move Hybrid Access Gateway to a container-based architecture. So the next release will be based out of Docker containers. So all services in Hybrid Access Gateway will be run in the virtual appliance as Docker containers. Instead of using the appliance, also customers can deploy these containers in their own environment, for sure. And very shortly after the release, we will also be able to do container orchestration with Kubernetes. So it's a really good thing for us moving into the next generation, using new technology, speeding up the development process, the upgrades. Everything will be a lot easier with Docker. And this is something that I really look forward to.
Nice.
The next major feature that we have in the next release is OpenID Connect. Hybrid Access Gateway have been supporting OpenID Connect as the relying party, which meant that we can connect to external identity providers that offers OpenID Connect interfaces, like login with Google. You've maybe done it a few times for different sites. You can log in with your Google account. One really nice thing with OpenID Connect, it's transparent to the end user which data that it's shared. So you have a consent page where you actually, do I consent to I share this information with the service? Yes, then you're authenticated. So it's really good. And it will also enable, great possibilities for Hybrid Access Gateway to work as a proxy, federation proxy. We have really good SAML support since a long time, but this is the next generation, if I can call it that. So really looking forward to it.
And I think that closes more or less our session of today's winter release. Thank you very much for watching. If you like part of this, please share or even give a thumbs up. And if you have things that you maybe think that we have missed and should be talking about, and something that you would like us to talk about in the future, just reach out, send us an email or whatever, and we'll look into it. So hope to see you again in the spring release.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.